Welcome to Talmudic Treasures. Today we're learning Subos page 57, which discusses that once a person has performed the first step of Kedushin, of betrothal, the law is that you have 12 months to prepare for the wedding. And during that 12-month time, that's when the women will get their tachshitin, their garments, and make sure everything is ready, perhaps their wedding gown and other clothing for their future. And the husband also is going to spend a lot of time finding the wedding hall, the suda, preparing for the meal, as well as having a beautiful canopy, a beautiful chuppah. So when it comes to a first marriage, we say it's 12 months. After that time, the husband should have already made all necessary preparations. And therefore, even though they're not married, the law is that he has to still, at that point, start preparing and providing mizonos, sustenance, food for his wife-to-be. Now the question is, where do we come up with this time of a woman waiting 12 months before she gets married? And on this, the Talmud tells us it's found in Sefer Bereshit in the book of Genesis. We know that Yitzchak was hoping to find a suitable wife. So his father Avraham sent Eliezer, his servant, to go across many lands to be able to find an appropriate woman. Of course, he comes across this woman, Rivka, and what ends up happening, as it's brought down in Midrashim, is that her father, Betuel, actually died during that time, that night. His question exactly was he trying to poison Eliezer, exactly what happened. But nonetheless, he did die. And because of that, the verse, which was always talking about her father, all of a sudden now it's talking about her brother, Lavan, and their mother. They said, you know what? Don't go so fast. I want you to stay, even though he is someone that I hope one day you'll marry. You should stay, as the verse says, Yomim o Asar. Now, Yom means day. Yomim, which is the plural form of Yom, is days. So, interestingly, they said, why don't you, my daughter, my sister, stay with us for days or 10? Now, what does that mean? The Talmud says it cannot be literally stay for 2 days, because they said, please let her stay for 2 days. And Eliezer says, no, not 2 days. So then they're going to say, oh, she can't stay for 2 days. Could she stay for 10 days? That doesn't make any sense. It's illogical. If in fact they said that 2 days, she can't even stay for that short amount of time, obviously she can't stay for 10 either. So therefore, the proper reading of the verse, Yomim, in which is found also in other contexts, other places, could also actually mean a year. Yomim could represent that which encompasses many days, which is a year. And therefore, what they were saying is, let her stay for a year. And he said, no, a year's too long. And then Asor, maybe let her at least stay for 10 months, a shorter period of time. And still, of course, she wanted not to stay, and she ended up, of course, leaving right away, going back to Yitzchak. So we see from here, the verse, that there is this concept of staying for a year's time in preparation for a wedding. Now, of course, as we've mentioned before, the engagement, Kedushin, the Nisuin nowadays typically takes place at the exact same moment. But there is an element of waiting between an engagement and Nisuin in order to make the proper preparations, in order that a person should be able to have everything in place, not just for the wedding day, but also for after the wedding, so that you have everything aligned so that you'll be able to live a comfortable and happy life together.